Well, hello my chud buds. Today let's slice into the delicious mess that was the PSN catastrophe. Sit back because it's time for a roast session that not even Sony can censor. So, on the fine day of May 3rd, Sony decided to pull a fast one by making PSN account linking mandatory for Helldivers 2 on PC. Big brain move, right? Launch a game without mandatory links because it's bugged, then slam it down our throats later because, well, corporate greed never sleeps. The SIE execs were probably high-fiving, thinking this would pump their PSN stats before a financial call. Talk about misplaced priorities. Now, implementing a major change post-launch is about as smooth as sandpaper. The game was out, people were playing, and nobody thought, hey, what this game really needs is more bureaucratic hoops to jump through. But Sony, in its infinite wisdom, decided that gamers needed just that. It's like serving a steak and then halfway through the meal, demanding diners wear a tuxedo to finish their food. Absurd, right? The backlash was immediate and ferocious. PC gamers, known for their fierce protection of gaming integrity and an open platform, were not about to take this lying down. Social media lit up like a Christmas tree, forums exploded with outrage, and the Steam user scores plummeted faster than a lead balloon. Gamers were not just upset, they were ready for digital warfare. But here's where it gets juicier. Sony Interactive didn't just insist on this ludicrous account linking, they pulled the game from sale in over 177 countries. Imagine that. One day you're playing your favorite game, the next it's yanked away like a rug under your feet. Because Sony Interactive couldn't play nice with its user base. This move wasn't just a slap in the face, it was a declaration of war against the very consumers who had supported them. As the weekend rolled on, Sony's corporate offices must have looked like a scene from a disaster movie. Executives scrambling, PR folks sweating under the harsh lights, and the social media team probably drowning in coffee trying to keep up with the enraged tweets and posts. But did Sony relent? Oh no, they doubled down, essentially holding the game hostage from its own audience. By May 5th, Sony was cornered, with no other option but to retreat. They rolled back the update, proving that when pushed into a corner, even the largest companies have to listen to their consumers. This wasn't just a victory. It was a landmark moment for digital consumer rights. Now, let's talk about the reaction from the PlayStation loyalists. You'd think they'd see the error of Sony's ways, right? Wrong. Some defended the indefensible, championing corporate greed over customers' rights. It's like thanking a burglar for only taking half your stuff. These fans, blinded by brand loyalty, missed the point entirely. This was about consumer power, not console wars. Sure, Sony backpedaling on the PSN account requirement for Helldivers 2 felt like a win. It was a delicious moment when the gamer chorus outscreamed a corporate behemoth, forcing a rare blink in their usually unflinching stare. But let's not start popping the champagne and throwing victory parades just yet. This wasn't the end game. It wasn't even close. It was just one skirmish in the ongoing guerrilla war for digital freedom. Buckle up, because there's a whole campaign ahead, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. The persistence of DRM, digital rights management, and third-party account requirements on platforms like Steam is a thorny issue. It's like having a spy in your computer, constantly checking if you're playing by the rules set by some bigwig in a boardroom far away. Gamers have been vocal about their disdain for DRM because it often feels like paying customers are treated as suspects first and consumers second. Let's face it, DRM and mandatory account linking are tools designed with corporate interests in mind, control and data. They control how and when you play the games you've paid for, and they harvest data about your gaming habits. It's a double-edged sword that cuts deep into the trust between gamers and the industry. Now let's wade into the muck where it gets real sticky. DRM and account requirements, these are the shackles they tell us. We need to fight off the pirates, right? But let's be real. These tools aren't the heroes they're dressed up to be. They're more like a nuisance that punishes the legit gamers more than the actual swashbucklers of the digital seas. These pirates, these savvy tech wizards, just chuckle and sidestep these digital tripwires like they're nothing, cruising the web without a care. Meanwhile, regular folks, the Joes and Janes, are stuck jumping through endless hoops just to fire up a game they've already shelled out cash for. How's that for justice in the high-tech age? This lingering acceptance of DRM and third-party accounts on platforms like Steam is not a resounding win. It's a ceasefire at best. The big question remains, why are gamers, the lifeblood of the industry, still being shackled by these policies? It's like being invited to a free speech rally, then being told you can only whisper. So what can we learn from this? First, never underestimate the power of a united user base. Second, always question corporate motives, especially when they seem more focused on their bottom line than on user experience. And third, always stand up for your rights as a consumer. Because at the end of the day, if you don't protect your digital rights, who will? The real victory will come when companies realize that the best way to combat piracy and maintain profits isn't through restrictive technologies, but through better services, fair pricing, and respecting consumer rights. Games like Witcher 3 have shown that ditching DRM doesn't necessarily lead to financial ruin, but can actually build goodwill and boost sales through positive community support. Until then, every rollback, every policy change forced by consumer backlash is a small win in the ongoing struggle. These are battles that remind companies that gamers are not passive wallet openers, but active participants in the gaming ecosystem, capable of collective action that can make or break gaming empires. So, is it a total win? Not by a long shot. But it's a crucial step in the right direction, a reminder of our power when we stand united. We must keep the pressure on, keep the discussions alive, and continue to challenge the norms that treat gamers as second-class citizens in the digital realm. As we wrap this up, remember, every battle counts, each skirmish, whether it results in a tiny concession or a major policy shift, is part of the broader fight for rights and respect in the digital age. We've seen what happens when we raise our voices. Let's keep that momentum going, not just for today's battles, but for the war that continues beyond. Let's not rest on our laurels. There's much more to fight for, and together, we can continue to make a difference. Keep challenging, keep questioning, and never settle for less than what you deserve.